Roxo Media House.
Baseline. Outside O'Bannon's three. The dunk from Peavy. Taking flight. TCU wins it. Our final score, TCU 81. West Virginia 65.
Back with another episode of State of the Frauds with Coach Jamie Dixon with Autobahn Porsche, presented to you by. We'd like to thank you for coming, Coach. And we're going to start off talking about the game we had against Iowa State. We talk a little bit about that, being on the road. The hostile environment is one of the toughest places to play. And can you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been a good learning lesson for us. I mean, I think, a team that beat us before, simply put, I mean, they're as I told our guys, I mean, they beat us twice now. They're better than us right now. Doesn't mean they're going to be better than us down the road here, but we got to learn from it. They beat us at our place. We didn't respond at their place. And they're good, and they're playing well. But we got some shots early, knocked them down. Felt pretty good about it. But end of the day, defense just wasn't there. And so after that game, I think is where we kind of reevaluate ourselves in a team. And they said we had to get better defensively, but we made some improvements after that. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is just getting better. Sometimes you got to take an L to really realize things. And every team's got at least 3 losses in this league, and we're now they got almost, I think, 2 or 3. And then there's a couple of 4. I mean, like you take some beatings, how you respond to it. And that's what we got to do. So I think we got better from that game.
Yeah, and you talk about getting better. In the second half of that game, the team shot 58%.
Yeah.
Did a great job in the second half, and so that led into what we're going to talk about as West Virginia as well.
Yeah, offense was good. I mean, we got, like you said, low turnovers, 57%. Good things. Could have made some free throws. That's one of the things that we've kind of gone the wrong direction on. But that's a temporary thing. Mm-hmm. We got better in that, and our defense just wasn't there. Going back to what I said earlier, we've got to defend, and West Virginia's the first game where we really got our goals defensively, as far as holding them under 40%, less than get the 19 turnovers. We've got to do that on a regular basis, especially you got to do it on the road. You can't win, and I say that you can't win without guarding defensively, and I say that, and we got away with winning 2 games at Baylor, at Oklahoma State, with really not doing the job defensively.
Yeah, you talk about the West Virginia game, the assist-to-turnover ratio. You had 20 assists in that game, and it was just great. The ball pressure and just the fast break was just that much better in the West Virginia game.
We're fighting for another assist. I thought we had 21, and looking at its stats, and we want to be generous with assists, because that's something I've emphasized, and that's my thing, and that's always been my staple, really, with the teams we've had. Pitt, and we're second in the league in assists this year. So you want to emphasize those and not steal any of those from us at home, especially. But I thought we were good. I thought there were some transition opportunities in the second half where we may have forced some things, but our actions in the half court, our playing inside out, feeding the post, feeding E-Man, Micah, Jakobe inside, got us good looks. And so, the numbers were good. Offensively, we didn't shoot it great, but we shot it. We took good shots, gave ourselves opportunities for second shots, putbacks, and just getting a little better. But our offense is, we lead the league in scoring. Offensively, the numbers, the analytics speak highly to our offensive execution. We'll continue to improve defensively.
And as you talk about improving defense, and what you also stress is being the aggressor. And I think that was a great key in the West Virginia game and coming out as far as taking the fight to them.
Yeah, I mean, we made some slight adjustments, but we've been pushing the aggressiveness part, but it just hasn't seemed to be happening. Okay. And I think we kind of emphasized the strengths of West Virginia, what we had to take away, and maybe that got the message across better. We changed a little bit of some of our rules that weren't really coming into play a lot, but maybe that was holding us back some. I don't know, but hopefully it's a build towards a consistent, aggressive ball pressure type of defense that I think we have to have, and that's what we're looking forward to doing here. So it's it'll open some things, maybe offensively for the other teams to get some penetration, but maybe it won't, and that's where we got to be. So we saw it. It was better, especially the point guard, the guards out front, Jameer and Avery, and Trey. But Jameer and Avery, they're key to us, and we've been saying that over and over again. And from day one, we knew it defensively and offensively, and we're putting the onus on 2 new guys, which is not a great formula in this league, but that's what we're doing. They're great kids. They play hard. They're athletic. It's a good starting point, but that's always been my belief that we're going to get better because of these guys getting better.
Okay. Yeah. And it shows for sure, as you keep saying. So this has been the State of the Frogs, and when we come back, we'll have the student question for Coach, and we'll see where we go from there.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Back on State of the Frogs with Coach Jamie Dixon. I'm your host, Bingo Merriex, and we have the student question from Natalie and Lexi.
Hi, I'm Lexi Kiefer, sophomore marketing major from Orange County, California.
I'm Natalie. I'm a sophomore. I'm a BIS major from San Diego, California. And we just wanted to say we're sorry about your dad passing, but we were wondering if you could share a moment that you remember, a special moment with your father.
Well, Natalie and Lexi, I appreciate you asking that question. My father was always my coach and my best friend. I mentioned that he was my best man in my wedding. But a lot of people ask me what over time, and I think about when we beat Texas and I hit the shot against Texas. People sometimes ask, well, what'd you guys do after that game? And I say I did what I always do. And I always call my dad after every game as a player, as a coach. And that's what I did at, 19, 20 years old when that happened too. And what my dad said there is just make sure you hang out with the same people after the game. And that's what I did. I went out and hung out with the same people that I always did because that's what my dad said. So that's maybe answers your question. Lexi and Natalie.
And also, did your dad play ball as well?
He did. Yeah, he did. I mean, it was he played. He grew up in New York. He loved hoops. He loved all sports. And but basketball seemed to be the thing. It's a city game. It's New York City. He's from the Bronx. Okay. And I played a lot of baseball growing up and was in the Little League, and that was my sport because that's what everybody played. Mm-hmm. I think I got a little more push to basketball because of his roots, and he loved passing too. We talked about assists. He was always an emphasis on assists and guys that passed, and he didn't like guys that were hog the ball, ball hogs. Mm-hmm. He didn't like those. So I don't know, Bingo may not like your game because all I heard is you used to shoot it all the time, man. All right. That's what they tell you.
Yeah, but when you talk about New York, that was a tough brand of basketball. So that the toughness comes from New York. That's what when you think of a New York basketball player, you think of the toughness first.
Well, I mean, I was. I like to say I was raised in California, but I was raised by New Yorkers. Okay, and so. There's probably people always kind of wonder where I'm from, but that's probably why there's a kind of a mix. Okay. I don't really quite fit into one place.
Right. Okay. That's good. Well, we'd like to thank you, Natalie and Lexi, for that question. And when we come back, we'll be talking with veteran Jakobe Coles when State of the Frogs continue, brought to in part to you by our friends from Audubon Porsche.
But the proudest thing he's just the greatest kid around. You know that. Everybody in Pittsburgh knows that. He's great. And he's a real man, He's not a schmuck, Yeah. He's a real man. Yeah, tell him, Jamie.
We're lucky to have a collective that's as strong and as powerful as the Flying T Club. It's a big deal for us. It is a game changer. I would just encourage any fans out there to support it. Everyone asks me, what's the biggest priority? And I say, NIL is big. Please jump on board, show these student athletes how much they mean to you. The thing about NIL is I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, and the Flying T Clubs do it the right way. Let's keep winning. Join the Flying T Club today.
Back on State of the Frauds with Coach Jamie Dixon, we would like to thank Natalie and Lexi for the student question. Now we have the veteran, Jakobe Coles, with us, and we're going to talk with him a little bit. Thank you for being with us. And
yes, sir.
Man, we just want to jump into it, man. We talking about you and your experience that you have on the team, that you bring to the team, and it's been showing. Can you just talk about your transition on being a more experienced player on the team this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good, and we have a lot of guys on our team that are pretty much experienced, but specifically with being here at TCU for the past 3 years, you know, I've gotten to learn and gone through my ups and downs and struggles and understanding like what you need to do for yourself during the season and how to help your team win. And, you know, I think with me, like with building trust with the coaching staff, building trust with the players, and, you know, kind of going into the season this year, I was kind of had to step my game up in leadership and be able to talk to guys and be able to, you know, make guys understand, especially the new guys that came in, just make them understand plays or little stuff that, you know, Dixon needs or Dixon wants or the other coaching staff needs. So, you know, using that leadership experience and then also just making sure I'm mentally preparing for each and every game and making sure I'm doing my job and doing the best I can to, you know, help the team win. And, you know, there's, you know, I know about the 12. I've been in the 12 for the past 3 years. So I know it's a tough, you know, league. And there's going to be times where it's, you know, you're going to have your losses, you're going to have your bad losses, but you're going to have your good wins. And, you know, you can't be too high on your highs and too low on your lows. And so, as you know, that's kind of the main experience I try to give to everybody on the team and just let them know that, like, yeah, we might be in a hole or we might be here, but there's still a lot more we can do to get better and to ultimately win a championship.
Nice. And you talk about your leadership and you talk about talking to the players and everything, but it shows too as far as just you changing your body, getting in better shape, being better on defense. All that shows as well too. Can you talk a little bit about your summer preparation and how you went into that and how it paid off to showing in the season this year?
Yeah, me and Coach G got really close over the last few years of him being here, and you know, I think he really understands what I need as an athlete and what I need to be to become a professional. And you know, there was, you know, many different ways I could have went about it in the summer, but you know, I have my own place here. I'm from the area, so I have my own trainers, and so I end up bringing my trainers in during the summer for the on-court stuff, and then just working out with him as far as weight room stuff and conditioning stuff. And you know, he really just got my mind and body prepared just for the season, and let me know like what I have to do, and let me know what things I need to do to be able to be a step ahead when season times comes. And you know, unfortunately, during the beginning of the season is where I kind of start dealing with a little injury on my foot with plantar fasciitis, and it was kind of tough for me to understand and deal with because I really never had an injury like that. And I pretty much kind of been dealing with that all year in terms of just pain and trying to maintain it through, you know, high-level competition. And but he's helped me tremendously. The trainers have helped me tremendously. And, you know, I think over the past few years, it's more about, you know, taking those steps to lead you into being a professional and having a professional mindset towards things. So something might not be going your way, like an injury, or something might not be going your way in the court, but it doesn't stop the progress or stop the work or stop the, you know, the mentality that you need to be successful. And so like that's the main things that I try to do in the off season is prepare physically and mentally coming into next season, whether I'm going to have those ups or I'm going to have those downs. So
yeah. And then you talk about the preparation. You know, the team is very talented for sure. But I think when I break your game down, you are definitely one of the most versatile players on the team because you can play inside and outside. So, you know, if you have your game that maybe not going inside.
They said that was you back in the day. That's what you
know,
was.
Just a little something, man. You know, but I think the thing about you more so now, you have more of an inside game now. My inside game didn't develop more so until start playing professionally because the men were stronger. So it's like, okay, if your three ball is not falling, your outside shot not falling, what are you going to do? You have that right now, as you can tell, like you mix it up really well. So can you just tell us how do you go about that preparation in the game as far as, okay, I'm going to play outside, I'm going to play inside and mixing it up?
That's actually a great question because I've had to really think about that this year. I mean, starting at the beginning of this year, you know, I was really high in terms of shooting from the perimeter and shooting mid-range baskets. And I felt like as time went on and also me just dealing with this injury at the same time, I got a little stagnant and only shooting jump shots. Okay. And I've always been a person that's been really, really good around the basket, having the footwork. I mean, my dad has been teaching me since I was just a little kid. So I've always had the footwork and I've always had the ability, but it was just figuring out, one, how to deal with it as far as from a competitive standpoint, but also doing it from, you know, an injury standpoint and being able to move and being able to mix those things up and still be prepared to, you know, go into any battle that I'm going into. And so, you know, for me, I think at the beginning of the season, like I said, I was being a little stagnant with shooting. So I kind of had to reframe my mindset and reframe, like, you know, get some early touches around the basket or just get in spots where you're comfortable at. Yeah. And for me, my most comfortable spot is usually, you know, in the mid-post area to where I can kind of feel the defense, understand where the defense is coming from, and to be able to react and make the right pass or make the right move. And so from there, just, you know, with the flow of the game, you just kind of have to, you know, use your IQ, but also use your competitiveness and your aggressiveness to get to those spots that you need to get to be, you know, successful. And, you know, I've had to reframe it a little bit over the year, especially as things change and especially as things go deeper into the season and people start to key on you more. And that's another thing, like people scouting for you, you know what I'm saying? Right. Last year, like I was able to get maybe a little bit more easier shots than I was because maybe I wasn't scouted as much. So now going into this year, there's going to be times where I go into the game where, you know, they're going to be scouting heavy on either pressuring me or getting me off of my spot or getting me in places where they don't want me at. So, you know, over the time I've had to develop that, and that just comes with watching film and just understanding the game.
Nice. That's good. And just now, last question, you talk about your dad a bit. He was a professional. Mm-hmm. And so were you able to watch him play, like as far as like tapes or anything?
You know, it's crazy. I never got to see no tape of my dad. Like, he didn't really have a lot of tape. But within this last year, it was like one of my first times seeing him hoop. And it was different because obviously he hooped during a time where, you know, it was, you know, the spacing and stuff was a little bit different, a little bit more clogged, and you could just see how the game is just developed and how it's different. And able to see my dad and just the mentality that he had when he played was just inspiring, and I was happy to see that. But you know, he's given me everything I need as far as from basketball, from physical, from mental to emotion, any type of part. He has been there for me since the beginning. And so, you know, he's always someone that I, you know, go to and try to get my understanding, because he looks at things through a coach's view. Mm-hmm. You know, he's my dad, he's my parent, he has love for me, but the one thing I respect about him is he looks at things through a coach's lens, because he knows that's what's best for me. Right. And so I think when he does that, it helps me be prepared to know what the coaches might be thinking or know what the coaches might need in terms of what I need to do to help the team win, and also just being the best player I can be.
Yeah, and then you said when you seen your dad, you got to see a glimpse of him play, and you can look at him probably and you say, man, you probably had it back in the day.
Yeah, no, my dad was nice. My dad was nice. The biggest thing was he always would tell me, like, he would get me if we ever played. But after looking at the film, I just don't think so. Yeah, just looking at my film, looking at his film. But my dad played hard, and he was aggressive, and he had that go-get-it mentality, and that's all you can ask for.
That's good, man. And that's that pedigree with you and that you bring to the floor and the Frog Season 8. So that's good, man. Yep. So we'd like to thank you, man. And
appreciate you.
This is the State of the Frogs with Coach Jamie Dixon. And when we come back, we'll take a preview with Kansas State and what to look forward to when State of the Frogs continue, presented by Audubon Porsche.
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
Back on State of the Frogs with Coach Jamie Dixon, we'd like to thank Jakobe Coles for his time. And now we're going to look forward, Coach, to Kansas State and what we can expect from that. We know that Kansas State is not the same team from last year, but still a tough team. And, you know, going into Kansas State is still going to be a tough environment to play in there. So what can we expect in this game against Kansas State?
Early morning game, packed. I'm sure students right on top of you. Boy, they do a great job putting them right there in midcourt, and they let you have it. You know, they're a team that went out and got guys, and you know, they got the transfers, and they got some guys that we had looked at and tried recruiting. So, you know, it's funny. It seems like you're just more familiar teams now because everybody's kind of recruiting those same guys in the spring as we go into this new world. But they're a team that relies on their guards, their wings, 1, 2, and 3 to score the basketball. And they all three can, if you're counting Kaluma as their 3 when they go a little bit bigger. But they're talented. They shoot the ball. They're athletic. I think hopefully our depth can wear them down. Hopefully we can make it hard for them to guard, to get threes, because I'm worried about that. And again, our big emphasis is cutting down layups too as well. So we're asking to do a lot of things, but we've got to do it to go win on the road.
Yeah, and you talk about the three guards. Another thing with Kansas State, they turn the ball over a lot. The three guards probably average 3 turnovers between the three of them, so that will be key as far as defensive pressure and pressure in the ball.
Well, we want to do that and yet not give up open shots at the same time. But, we want to keep get into the ball. Ball screens are going to be huge, guarding that, dribble handoffs. Handbacks, as we call them. They want to get the ball to those guys. They use their bigs to set the screens, to get them room to operate. And so we understand where it's going to be. I think mainly man-to-man, a little zone. We haven't faced much zone. I don't think teams will play a lot of zone against us, but we try to keep it pretty similar what we do against man and zone. And we'll attack it trying to get the ball inside and out, and that's our best offensive balance.
Wow. All right. Well, we wish you the best out in Kansas State. This has been another edition of State of the Frogs with Coach Jamie Dixon with our friends Autobahn Porsche. And we'd just like to thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Roxo Media House.